25 things that are on my wish list in my real estate business in 2025. We're going to talk about it here today, and I'm going to share a little personal wish list item at the end of the video. So wait till the very end. This may surprise you. All right, let's get into it. Number one is I want mortgage rates to come down, like a lot more down, like 5% range, preferably 4%. Oh, good Lord, folks, the mortgage rates are still higher. And even though we get news that the mortgage rates are pulling back, they barely pull back. So they're in the 6.5% to 7% range here in the last 6 to 10 months. And that is high. Now, I know a lot of you out there are going to say this. I don't know what you're talking about. You're so fussy. Because when I bought my house back in 1980, the mortgage rates were like 19%. I mean, what's the big deal? 6 or 7%. Okay, honey child, let me tell you what the big deal is. First of all, we have to put 20% down to qualify for a decent mortgage percentage. And the other thing is the value of the homes are considerably larger. And if you were to do the ratio about salaries versus mortgage payments back in 1980 versus now, it's a whole different story. To have a really good real estate thriving market, we need rates to come down. That's my wish number one. Number two is I wish and pray for reasonable home sellers and reasonable home buyers when it comes to the pricing of their home. 2024 was a doozer. The market definitely corrected, okay? We had very low buyer demand. We had high mortgage rates, and sellers were like, I ain't selling my house unless I get my price. I mean, I had 2 sellers that were so adamant that their house was worth about $200,000-$300,000 and what the market was willing to bear. And they canceled the listing and they listed with someone else. Unfortunately for me, I know it's sad. Whoa. You can't win them all, folks. It's, this real estate business is a really humbling place. But it was also a lesson for me that I am not going to work with sellers that are just unrealistic. I'm not going to make the assumption that they're going to wake up to reality a few months down the road. Like, we either do my plan, which is the reasonable plan, or you can go do your price and your strategy with another realtor and waste their time. Okay, the market is very fickle, and I don't mean to offend you all. I'm all about getting top dollar, and if you look at my record, you will notice that I'm always pushing price, and I do an extremely good job. However, I'm not going to deal, and I wish, I hope, and pray that I get good clients this year where I don't have to deal with that, because it wastes everybody's time, energy, and money. For you buyers out there, it's not a good idea to lowball offer either. Eventually, the seller will get reasonable. They will drop their price. But if you do offer a super lowball offer, you might offend the seller, and if they do lower that price eventually, they might be so mad at you that they don't accept your offer. So, time is always a great equalizer, and I just hope and pray that I get to deal with reasonable sellers and buyers this year. Please. So far, it's looking really good. Number 3 is I hope and pray that I get listings where those HVAC systems or major appliances are working properly. Now, this just happened this last month where I had a home seller do a home inspection before we put their house on the market, and the HVAC system was tired, and the guy's like, hey, I think we need to replace this thing. It's on its last leg. And the home seller is like, oh no, we don't want to put the money into it because we're selling our house, and so we want to maximize the money that we're going to get out of the house, so we're not going to do it. Hey, folks, right now, I'm telling you, like, these major appliances need to be up to snuff. And if they're not, it makes it very difficult for the negotiations when it comes to the repair request. So what ended up happening is we get a record price, $100,000 over the asking price. And guess what happened? The buyer comes in and says, oh, guess what? The HVAC system's a little tired and we want a new one. I mean, we're paying top dollar. We want a new HVAC system. And then the sellers are looking at me like, whoa, gosh, I'm so offended. That's just not right. Why would they want something like that? Because they're paying top dollar. So I just hope and pray that in my 2025 that I have home sellers, and if I'm working on with buyers, I'm praying that all those HVAC systems and all those major appliances are refurbished, that they're working properly, because it makes the transaction go so much more smoothly. Okay, folks, this is just my wish list. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying this is my wish list. Those HVAC systems are killing me right now. Number 4 is I hope and pray that if I'm selling a home and there's a slab leak or a pinhole leak, that the homeowner repipes the entire house. This is such an issue where I live, and I'm telling you, it is so hard to sell a house if there's been slab leaks or pinhole leaks on the property and the house has not been repiped. The other thing is, if you do have a slab leak, or a pinhole leak and you go through your insurance to cover it, guess what? That means that the next buyer's insurance premium is through the roof as well. So it's just so much harder to sell homes when we have slab leaks that aren't repiped. So repipe your house. It's going to make my life so much easier. Thank you. And by the way, if you have one pinhole leak, more than likely it's going to be a reoccurring issue. So don't fool yourself. It's not the only time it's going to happen, more than likely. That's been my experience. Number 5 is I hope and wish that all you out there watching this YouTube video will hire the proper representation when selling or buying a home. I just can't even express to you how important that is. And you all know, I've told you this over probably 1,000,000 times, that you have to interview your agents. Make sure they're the right ones for you. And I can't tell you how many calls I get in a day with you calling me saying, yeah, Audra, I didn't listen to what you said. I hired my cousin, or I hired, the lady that was in the coffee shop, or I hired my realtor's son who just got into the business, and oh my gosh, I'm in such a mess. Can you help me out? Okay, no. Don't get yourself in that situation. I can't express how important. In fact, if the only thing that I do that's productive on YouTube is to help you find the right agent, then I have done my job. That's how important it is. And by the way, I do have a free resource checklist that you can download for free. It's in the description box. It has like 6 different checklists. But one of the things in there, which is the most important, is those interview questions that you can ask your listing agent or your buyer's agent. Please, I hope and pray you all take this seriously and you do this. And by the way, if you want some agents to interview, I do have a referral business that I can refer some agents to you in your area. Interview them. There's no commitment. Just check them out. See if you think they're any good. But at least we know that they're vetted, they have the credentials, and they do the proper marketing. You're at least one step ahead of the game. Number 6 is I hope, pray, and wish that my sellers fill out their seller disclosures before we put the house on the market. In California, we have this thing called the transfer disclosure statement and the seller property questionnaire. I always send my disclosures to my sellers as soon as we get a listing contract signed, and I tell them, hey, stop what you're doing, take the time, fill this out, get it back to me as soon as you possibly can. If there's anything funky on those disclosures, at least I know about it. And if you're working with another agent in your area, they need to know about this stuff too. The beautiful thing about this is when an offer comes in, we can send over those seller disclosures with a counter, and at least those buyers kind of have an idea what's going on in the property. And if it's an absolute no, I can't handle this kind of stuff, then you'd rather have a quick no rather than a long no. This is my wish list. I know, I'm dreaming. Makes the transaction go so much smoother. Okay, number 7 is I hope and wish that all my contingencies on all of my properties are met on time without any reminders. Okay, now you know I'm really dreaming. Some of you may not know what contingencies are. In any contract in any state, there's usually a period of time where your buyer does their home inspection or their termite inspection or their roof inspection. And after a certain period of time, they have to remove, and it's a formal document that they have to sign that says, I'm removing this contingency. Now, what I don't understand is they're always late. I don't care how many times I remind people. I don't care how many emails. I have a whole staff reminding the other side when things are due. And it always happens where the other side is like, whoa, is that due today? Oh, well, we need a few more days. Yeah, we had to go out to dinner tonight for my kid's birthday. Oh my gosh. Folks, when you sign a contract, there's some contractual obligations, and contingency timelines is one of those things. The one that kills me the most is that mortgage loan approval. Oh my goodness. It is a rare day when we actually get loan contingency removed on time. I mean, we're talking rare. So my number 1 biggest wish is that all the timelines in the contract as they relate to contingencies are released on time. I don't even know what that would look like. That would be amazing. So for those of you who are selling your home, make sure you ask your agent when the due dates are, and make sure you're reminding your agent and the other side when those contingencies are supposed to be removed. It's a very important timeline that you want to work towards and make sure everybody's respecting it. Okay, number 8, we got to start picking up the pace, is I really wish that we all close on time, meaning that the contract closes on the date specified in the contract. I know a lot of you are like, well, what's she talking about? That's what happens, right? No! If you're working with the lender, there is a 99.9% chance they are not going to close on time. I have no idea where the customer service is with these mortgage people. And I know a lot of you mortgage people out there are like, we got to give Audra a call because we can close on time. Okay, let me tell you, you don't make the decision. The underwriters do. And things get lost in transmission and you don't send the closing disclosure out on time. And so they're like, oh, I'm sorry, we got to close in 2 or 3 days. I hope that's okay with your seller. No, it's not okay. You have contractual obligations. All right, so my wish in 2025 is that we close all of my transactions on time. Luckily, things are looking up this year because I've closed every transaction on time this year. I can't even believe it. It's a miracle. And I hope all the other ones follow suit. Number 9 is I pray and wish. I mean, this is a huge wish. It's not going to happen. That all my deals are all cash. I know. I hate dealing with mortgage companies. Oh my goodness. Ironically, when I'm talking to mortgage brokers and they're like, I've been in this business for 30, 40 years. That's code word for we're going to be really, really slow. Oh my gosh. All cash deals. I love them. And for those of you who are accepting offers, you're like, oh, what's the big deal? Mortgage versus cash. Cash is king. You have no idea what can go wrong when you're dealing with a mortgage company. I hate it. So I wish all my deals are cash. And by the way, I did a video called Is Cash Really Cash? I will link it right here. I'd highly suggest that you watch that because a lot of offers that are being presented say they're all cash when they're really not. Watch this video. You'll thank me later. Number 10. Is I hope and pray that I do not have any repair requests. I hate those things. I hate those things. I would rather just give a credit. And for you sellers out there, I highly suggest you do something similar. I know you start counting those pennies. You're like, I can do it cheaper. Just don't go down that rabbit hole because during the final walkthrough, your buyer could potentially come in and say, oh, no, that's not the quality that I wanted, the home seller to repair that. I wanted a general contractor to repair that. Just don't mess with it, okay? So I pray that I have no repair requests in 2025. And just so you know, I've closed several transactions this year and I've had no repair requests. I'm very happy about that. It does help to have your house in tip-top condition. Wish number 11 is that I get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So please subscribe to my channel, smash the like button. I would forever be grateful. And I'm off to a really slow start. Oh, not loving it. All right, help a girl out, right? Okay, number 12 is I wish and hope that all my homes appraise for the value of the purchase price. And I always show up for all of my appraisal appointments with my appraisal package, with the floor plan, the comps, and the distinguishing features. A funny story was about 3 years ago, I had a property that didn't appraise for $100,000 below what the purchase price was. I was so upset. And I worked with this appraiser. He was a nice guy, but I'm like, hey, this is all the reasons. And he still didn't bring, the property into value. Ironically, 3 years later, he calls me up and he says, hey, I'm selling my house. So I get to his house and I'm like, okay. And he's like, you don't remember me, do you? I'm like, no, who are you? He's like, yeah, well, I was the guy that brought your value of your home $100,000 below the asking price. I'm like, oh, okay. So why am I here? He's like, I've never met another realtor that fought as hard as you did in selling that house. He's like, I was beyond impressed. You did it professionally. I still wasn't able to bring it into value, but I'm hiring you because I want someone like you fighting as hard as you did for your client. So I suggest that you hire a listing agent that's going to fight for the value of your home. And I wish and pray that you all get your appraisals in at value, because when you don't have your value appraised properly or it doesn't come in at value, it creates a whole other can of worms in the negotiations. It's not fun when that happens. Number 13 is if I go on a listing presentation, I want to get the deal. I really want that. Now, of course, there's some deals I don't want, but for the most part, I'm always baffled. Like I go on this listing presentation, I'm really on my A game. I know that I offer way more than anybody else that I'm competing with. And that's not an arrogant statement. I'm just being realistic. If you're going to hire me, you're going to get so much more. Not even that. I know my stuff. A lot of you call me, say, Audra, come over to my house. I want to interview you. I'm kind of like, oh, well, haven't you been interviewing me on YouTube? Nonetheless, They interview me, I blow them away, and they call me back and they go, hey, we love you. And man, you were so prepared and you're so fancy and you're so good. And we know you do a good job for us. However, we're going to hire my cousin who just got into the business. So really appreciate all your helpful tips. But, we just get a better cost savings. And yeah, so sorry, but, thanks for all your help on YouTube. I'm like, what? So 9 times out of 10, these same people call me up few months later and go, Audra, we're in such a big mess. Oh, the contract's a mess. The buyer's backing out. Can you tell us again what contingencies are? Can you look at the contract? No, you already wasted my time. Okay, people, listen, I'm being kind of funny here, but to be fair, it's really important that you hire the right people. And if a professional comes to your property and it's like, should I hire the inexperienced or someone that doesn't have, we'll just say, the marketing plan or the sophistication and negotiations, you're going to be leaving money on the table more than likely. You need to have somebody you respect. For you new agents out there, I'm not putting you down, but no matter how hard you try, there are things you just don't know. I learn stuff every single stinking day in this business. So hire the best agent you can. So my wish is that if you are watching and you are going to interview me, please hire me. It's going to be the best investment you ever made. That is my wish for me and for you. Number 14 is I wish and hope that all my showing appointments show up on time. In fact, some people just cancel, right? So I do all private showings, meaning that I'm there present or a member of my team's present for all showings. We make sure the house looks beautiful. We give feedback, but there's oftentimes where people show up 30 minutes late or they just call and cancel and the homeowner's gone to all this trouble in preparing their home. So my wish for 2025 is that we're all on time and we don't cancel. Dreaming big once again. Okay, number 15 is I hope and pray that I get to work with cooperative buyers and sellers in a transaction. I don't know what it is. I've had some of the nicest people in the world I've ever worked with, but once an offer gets presented, it's like they turn into dragons and there's fire breathing out of their mouths and they're angry and they think it's this very combative type of transaction. It doesn't need to be that way, especially if all the parties just want to work together. Oh gosh, I can tell you stories. And even the buyer is like, why is the seller not wanting to work with me? And they get all mad, and it doesn't need to be that way. Same thing with the agents. Like, some agents just want to be combative. Even if you give them what they want, they're still like, I want more. So my wish in 2025 is that we have cooperative professional transactions. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. Wish number 16 is that I wish and pray that there's perfect weather when we shoot the property for the photo shoot. So, and where I live, we get rain sometimes. We also get fog, and sometimes the sun's so bright that it creates too much glare on the ocean. I know, big problems we have out here. But nonetheless, I wish for perfect weather. We oftentimes have to come back and shoot the property 2 or 3 times before we get the perfect image, and sometimes it delays the time we put the house on MLS. So if you are selling your home, make sure you're looking at the weather report. And, I'm all for, crazy weather, just not on the days that I'm shooting my properties. That is my wish. Number 17 is I hope and wish for a quick sale. And a quick sale to me means within 30 days. Okay. And the reason why I want that is because I want to get paid. I'm kidding. I just know I have so many haters out there like those realtors, they don't work hard. They just want a quick sale. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to level with you right now. If your house isn't under market in 30 days, at least in my area, then more than likely there's something wrong with the property or you're overpriced. So I hope for a quick sale because that means we've done our job well. We've put the proper marketing on it. We put the proper price, and the house is in a condition where a lot of people would want to move into it. So that is my wish in 2025, that all my properties will sell within 30 days. And so far, I'm off to a good start. My 18th wish is that I work with sellers who want to sell their homes, and I work with buyers who want to purchase homes. Pretty easy. You won't believe how many sellers don't really want to sell their homes and how many buyers really don't want to purchase homes. You'd be amazed. Okay, so a lot of sellers will tell me, yeah, I'm really motivated. I really want to sell the home. But really what they do is they set their price too high and they're like, hey, let's test the market. If I don't get my price, whatever, I'm just wasting her time. I don't want to work with people like that. And also I'm getting really good about figuring that out, just so you know. And I don't want to work with buyers who are like, yeah, if the right property comes up at the right price, then maybe, I'll purchase, but let's go look at 100 homes. Okay, no. I don't want to work with people like that because, they're asking for the diamond in the rough, and that's just rarely happens. And I'm here to sell homes. Okay. I'm not here to be your buyer's tour or your professional showing agent that is never going to close a deal. Okay. So I wish for 2025 that I work with very serious sellers and buyers. Did not say that I want to work with people that only want to lowball their asking price and only pay overpriced for their homes. It's not what I said. Just people who want to sell their homes or purchase their homes. That would be a dream come true. Wish number 19 is I hope and dream that during open houses or showings that none of the visitors bring their dogs, their iguanas, and for that matter, their kids that are unruly, right? And the reason for it is, like, I have a lot of clients that have a lot of allergies. So when we're selling the homes, they show up and they go, oh, I need to bring my animal in. No animals. We don't bring those into the open houses, okay? Now, if you do have a reason for bringing the animal in, like a service dog or something like that, I would just schedule it ahead of time. I am really firm about no pets, and I wish I could say no kids. Some of the kids are good, but I'd say most of them aren't. Into showings or open houses. That is my wish. My 20th wish is the homes that I'm selling or the homes that I'm helping somebody buy, that all the flooring for the most part is uniform. Okay, what do I mean by that? The same material through, let's say, 90% of the home. I can't tell you how many homes I've been seeing, and there's like 4 or 5 different flooring materials throughout the house. Okay, it's very difficult to sell a home when it has all these different flooring surfaces and materials. And of course, the buyers always ask, was there a slab leak in there? Like, why are all the floors different colors, right? And more than likely, the answer is yes. So I just hope and pray that I'm selling homes that all have uniform flooring. And if you are selling your home and you're like, I don't know, should I do it? The answer probably is yes. My 21st wish is that I get to work with seasoned, experienced, professional agents on every transaction. I would love that so much. Oh my goodness. I'm in 2 transactions right now with some of the top agents in the area, and they are doing an amazing job. And let me tell you, it's not easy negotiations. However, it's professional. We know what's customary, what's not customary. Our clients respect us, and we're getting the transaction done extremely smoothly for both parties. Now, if you are selling your home, I highly suggest that you hire the best agent you can. The reputation of who you hire truly does matter, and it will probably save you money in the long run if you're hiring the right agent. Okay, I'm done with that soapbox, but I just can't tell you how wonderful it is to work with agents that know what they're doing. I wish for more of that in 2025. My 22nd wish is that I don't want any contingent offers. I hate those things. Whether I'm representing the buyer or the seller. What I mean by that is that I don't want any offers that come in contingent on the sale of a home. It just puts the seller in a horrible position, and the buyer sometimes doesn't get reasonable. And even if they have their property under contract, we don't know anything about their buyer. They're just messy. Have I done them? Yes, I've done them. Do I like them? No. So in 2025, I don't want any contingent offers on the sale of someone's home. I just don't want to deal with it. And even as a buyer, it's super frustrating having to make offers when they're like, nope, you got to make an offer contingent on the sale of our home. Okay, well, maybe in some cities that's okay because the markets are slower, but I'd say most of the time when I'm presenting a contingent offer for a buyer, we never get our offer accepted because it's too much risk for the seller. And if you're selling your home, I would say be leery of contingent offers. There's a lot of risk and a lot of unknowns. Now, if all contingencies are removed, then maybe you consider it, but I just don't want any contingent offers in 2025. I'm wishing upon a star right now. My 23rd wish is short closing times, okay? Meaning in my area, 30 days is a reasonable time to close on a property. 45 days is pushing it, 60, 90, 120 days. Oh my goodness, heck no. That is a lifetime. There's just so many things that can go wrong in a property when it's that long of a time frame. Like what happens if you get a slab leak? Or what happens if there's an earthquake and your house falls down? Or what happens if the house burns down? I mean, I'm not trying to be cheeky here. There's a lot that can go wrong. So I wish that all closings in 2025 are 30 days or less, and preferably all cash. Oh my God, that'd be wonderful. Wish number 24 is I want to work with reputable escrow and title agents. It's super important that you hire the right title and escrow representation. For you sellers out there, you may not know, but it is customary for you to pick your own title and escrow services. Some of you don't use escrows. Either way, just pick the best title company you can find. More than likely, your listing agent's going to provide or make some recommendations. Do your research. I can't tell you how many stories I've heard where escrow companies shut down and they never get the money to the seller. Or better yet, they wire the money in into some random other place and they get hacked because they don't have the proper securities. And guess what? You don't get your money or the company closes down. I mean, this is a serious thing. I use Colleen Mackey at Escrow Options. I'll put her contact information here. I will also put this spreadsheet on the screen for you. This talks about the different types of escrow companies. I'm going to suggest that you find the best escrow company you could possibly find because you want your money and you want the proper protections. And of course, if I'm working with clients, I want that for them as well. My 25th wish is that I continue to grow my business. I had a record year last year. I grew my business by 112%. And for those of you who do not know me, my name is Audra Lambert, and I'm one of the top selling agents in Orange County, California. And I'm always looking to have good agents join my team. So if you're an agent and you're watching and you have interest in joining my team, whether you're a marketing person or an assistant type of role, or even a sales agent, reach out to me. We're always looking for great people to provide the services that we're so proud to offer some of our clients. Now, if you are an agent and you'd like to join our referral team, meaning that you're maybe in a different state, go to my website, lambertgrouphomes.com. You'll see right there on the front page that there's a button that you can fill out, and we'd love to interview to see if you're a good fit. And of course, if you have worked with agents that you know did a great job for you, we want to hear about it. We love referring agents out there that have a good reputation and a great service. And we're here just to provide exceptional service to all of our viewers. Thanks so much for watching this video. I appreciate all your support. Help me get to 100,000 subscribers. I'm really trying to help everybody out, make better choices for themselves, and take the power back in their hands as a consumer. All right, we'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.